regardless of how the person down the street is doing, or even other people in your family are doing. That's how people started viewing success in the American dream, and that's how people started um, really thinking of Americanism. So, and I think that that's really recognizable in a lot of culture. I mean, if you think of the way that, think of the movie Wall Street, think of actual Wall Street, the idea of, you personally deserve the big check, and that big check, is linked to your personal success and your, fulfillment of the American dream. The individual story, the individual fighting against odds. Um, but I think that one area where you can see that shifting one last time is, of course, I think we all remember the 2008 stock market crash. Because that coincided with two things in 2008. It's the start of people actually getting angry, and it's the start of also the election campaign for Obama. Now, obviously, before this teach-in, we were talking about voting in politics, and regardless of what you think of Obama as a politician, regardless of what he has or hasn't done in the White House, one thing that is completely undeniable is that his election campaign in 2008 people resonated with. And a lot of that had to do with his diction. Because his diction is almost entirely related to a return to the 1930s definition of the American dream. Um, One of his speeches, this was the acceptance speech actually of the 2008 Democratic National Convention. And if you just listen to this wording, there's more of a larger focus on social responsibility that really harkens back to, in a lot of ways, FDR. So 2008, through hard work and sacrifice, each of us can pursue our individual dreams, but still come together as one American family to ensure that the next generation can pursue their dreams as well. Each of us has the freedom to make our own lives what we will, but we also have the obligation to treat each other with dignity and respect. That's the promise of America. The idea that we are responsible for ourselves, but that we also rise or fall as one nation. The fundamental belief that I am my brother's keeper, I am my sister's keeper. And the idea that we rise and fall as one nation seems closer to the views of FDR, who stressed in his speech during the Great Depression that interdependence on one another is key to the American identity, and that we cannot merely take, but we must also give as well if we intend to go forward. And also, I think another wording of that specific 2008 Obama speech that's interesting is he doesn't say American dream. He says the American promise. Promise, of course, being synonymous with, in some ways, creed. The idea that it's not it's not a fiction, it's not a myth. It's something that we ultimately are responsible for. It's something that that was a promise that we need to fulfill on. This idea that, and the idea of being my brother's keeper, my sister's keeper, it goes beyond, it's not my personal success, it's all of our success. Now, obviously, that not doing anything besides just saying it also reflects a lot of why, what we see in the Occupy movement, with people, kind of screaming loudly that it's important that we care about one another, that individual success is going to tear us all down, that the American dream is a communal process. We are the 99%, or even better, we are the 100%. That one person's success, or even a 1% of the population's success, doesn't a nation make. The idea that we have a common goal and maybe even common sacrifice to make overall the communal identity of our nation successful. So so I think it's really interesting is when people talk about Occupy sometimes, one thing that they say is like, oh, well, I wasn't given a bailout, maybe why are you whining? Why do you just don't want to, pay your bills, or you don't want, you just don't want to work hard, or X, Y, or Z. And I think that that's something that's kind of harking back to the individual Reagan era idea of the American dream, that my personal journey is only my journey, and that no one else is involved in it. And I think that that's in some ways part of the challenge of this new era, is to show people, no, this is not the actual definition of the American dream as it started. It was a call to a nation that we all need to take care of each other and be concerned that everyone and anyone has the opportunity, not just the people who have the best education and not just the people who are born into the right suburb. That everyone has the opportunity for a not even the best lifestyle. Not everyone's going to be millionaires, but the point is that everyone should, as Franklin said, become a respectable citizen, and have the opportunity to establish themselves in business, marry, raise families, and not have to worry every second of the day. So, thought that's would be an interesting thing to reflect on this Dependence Day. And thank you so much for listening. Yay. Okay.
That was very well done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm not a historian, but any questions?